Hi, and welcome back to terryscookbook.com. My name is Terry Searcy, and this is our little three-part series on breads. So the first one, we did the paleo naan, which could also be converted into a crepe and or a tortilla. Our second one was Indian fried bread, also known as a poor man's bread, that we could fry. We could use it as a tortilla. We could use it as a taco, for pizza, and for donuts. Now we're going to make my Grandma Mika's flour tortillas. I am Hispanic, and my grandma used to make tortillas when she lived with us 2 times a day. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, I knew it was 6 because I could start hearing her rolling pin as it was hitting the board every morning. And then when we'd come back from school, she'd be rolling more tortillas because we'd have it with avocado, just a slice of avocado, butter, we'd stick a hot dog in it, whatever you could find. Right now, that is also a problem to find some tortillas, or you don't want so much bread. So this is my Grandma Mika's flour tortillas. So right here I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I have half a teaspoon of salt. I have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I have 3/4 cups of warm water, not hot, warm water. And now, so this is kind of the trick here, is lard. I have about a tablespoon of lard. That's what really makes the tortillas really soft and pliable and just so yummy. If you don't want to use lard, you can use vegetable shortening. You can use duck shortening. I know that's available in the grocery stores, and I saw it there because no one knows what to do with it. So you can use anything that you'd like as long as there is some type of shortening. You're also going to need a clean towel because we're going to let this set. Later on, I'll be showing you the rolling pin and some extra flour. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in my dry ingredients. Once again, you want to make sure that you remove all of your jewelry. And this was a great time for us as kids when we wake up in the morning and my grandma was making tortillas, or like on a Saturday or Sunday, because she never stopped making tortillas. There was a lot of us, and we could sit and talk to her as she was making her dough for her tortillas. So a little bit at a time, I'm going to be adding some warm water to this and mixing it up. After this is all mixed up, we're going to make our little tortilla balls, and we're going to let this set for about half an hour. Sometimes my grandma would let it set longer. And I'm going to add in some of the shortening now that I'm mixing this all together. Mix in a little bit more of the shortening. And a little bit more of the warm water. The warm water is helping the shortening kind of break down there. You don't want it hot. Like I said, you just want it kind of warm. And I'm going to go ahead and mix this up and be right back. Okay, welcome back. I've been kneading my dough for about 10 minutes. My grandma used to knead it all in the bowl, but I took this out so I could show you. So I've been kneading this dough for about 10 minutes. My husband asked me a question why I needed to knead it for 10 minutes and didn't I have an easier way of doing this. Yes, I do have an easier way of doing this. I have a KitchenAid mixer, but most of you don't, that has a dough hook on it. So I didn't think that that was fair. The other question my husband asked was, why am I kneading it for about 10 minutes? The reason why I'm kneading it for about 10 minutes is because the flour has what's called gluten. A lot of you are allergic to gluten. The gluten is like bands of elastic, so rubber bands. And what we need to do is we need to stretch the rubber bands. So that is part of the kneading in this. We need to stretch the rubber bands enough so that the tortillas are soft and pliable. If not, they're going to be kind of stiff and thick. So if you overwork the bands in here, they will become tough. Your tortilla is going to be tough. If you don't work them enough, it's also going to be tough. So about 10 minutes is what you want to knead your bread for. Now at this point in time, we'd be chatting with my grandma and she'd be making little balls. I am going to put some lard on my hand, so at this time you'd get some vegetable shortening, and pull off small amounts of balls, about as big as you want the tortillas to be. Form it in a ball. and put it into your bowl again. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna form all my balls. I don't know how my grandma used to do it, but she just knew. They were all perfect. I think that's because she made hundreds of tortillas in her lifetime, thousands, because we were always eating tortillas. I'm gonna roll these up. Once I have all my dough rolled up and put in there, I'm just gonna cover this for about 30 minutes, let it set, and then I'll be back and then I'll show you how to roll out the tortillas. It's been about 30 minutes, so welcome back. We're gonna see how our little tortilla balls are doing. They look just like the ones my grandma had. Well, no, not just like the ones. Mine are all different sizes. Hers were absolutely perfect. So this is what they look like. Now, just because I'm Hispanic does not mean that I can roll out a tortilla around. So I'm gonna attempt the best I can here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of flour on my board. I'm gonna do it long ways, and I have my rolling pin. I'm gonna put a little flour on that. And we're gonna roll this out. Right now I have, whatever you have that you can put your tortilla on. I have what's called a comal. That's what my grandma used to use. You can use a, anything that's kind of non-stick. If you want to use a griddle like I used earlier with the naan. This is kind of fun for your kids if they want to try rolling them out. Somehow my grandma, I remember hearing the rolling pin hitting like 3 times. It used to go like tras, and then I knew that she was going to put it on the comal to cook. Well, this isn't looking so bad. Okay, this is pretty doable. I actually buy my tortillas already made, the ones that you that are raw and that you just throw on, because we try not to eat a lot of flour products. And even though I can make the paleo ones, somehow these just say grandma. It reminds us of being kids. All right, so my tortilla is nice and thin. And pretty round, I should say. I was really surprised. Okay, my grandma had like no filling in her fingertips. So, and put this on my comal here. And she used to push down with the tips of her fingers. Okay, I can only do that for a certain length of time, and then the tips of my fingers kind of burn. And I have this on medium low, not too high. And she always told us to wait for it to start kind of bubbling up a little bit. And I can see my husband's kind of far away, but there are little burbujitas, little bubbles starting to show. So he's going to try to zoom in from where he's at. I don't know, were you able to get that, Gus? Okay, well, believe me, there's little blisters starting to show. Let me see if I move this, if that helps. Does that help? No? All right, I'm gonna turn this over, maybe you can see the blisters then. Okay, this is too hot, I'm gonna use this. Can you see little blisters? A little bit. Okay, well, believe me, there are blisters showing on this. And these are like so good. So when my grandma would make them, she'd always put them in a towel. I'm going to use the same towel that I had the tortillas wrapped in because I have to make all these tortillas. They never lasted very long in the towel. And once they were done and cooled off, if she had any left, okay, so I don't know if you can see the blister now. You can see the blisters. Okay, this is what's happening. So the blisters are starting to show. Once they were cooled off, then she put them in a plastic bag and put them in the refrigerator. Okay, you can see that my tortilla is now, we call it inflando, so it's bubbling up a little bit there. This is so good. This is so reminding me of being a kid and coming home from school, or in the mornings, having a fresh tortilla in the morning. And that is about it on the tortilla. So this is my tortilla. I'm sure my husband's going to have it with some salt or butter. So I want to thank you all for joining me in my 3-part series of tortillas, naans, crepes, donuts, anything you can make at home. And I want to thank my grandma, who is not with us, but for showing me a lot of the foods that I do make to help my family out and feeding them nutritionally and showing them some of our old ways. I hope you all stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll be seeing you next time. Thanks a lot. This is terryscookbook.com.